Avatar 2, or as I like to call it, Avatar 2, Sam Worthington's gotta eat. Because honestly, other than like Terminator Salvation and Ass of the Titans, I can't think of another movie that he's been in, like post Avatar, that launched his career and killed his career. And I think James Cameron felt bad about what he'd done to him. So he's like, okay, you know what? We're just going to make a sequel so you can get another paycheck. And I think that might have been the genesis of the movie. I think also James Cameron wanted to make another underwater documentary, but no one cared. So he decided that he was going to take his underwater documentary and make it into an Avatar movie, and people would watch that instead. But to be fair, this film did have a couple redeeming moments. And in particular, the film experience had a moment that was so good and so awesome and so just amazing, it almost redeemed the rest of the film, or it did redeem the rest of the film, and it made it a pleasurable experience. So to start off with the minor stuff, the killer whale shark thing was pretty cool. I liked that. Some of the underwater flora fauna, I should say, were pretty cool. That was all right. Some of the, I'm just gonna call the sky people the Terrans, because this whole movie really reminded me of StarCraft. Just seeing the blue people made me wish I was playing Protoss on ladder rather than watching this. So that was kind of cool. Some of the Terran technology was kind of cool. But the really big thing that almost made this movie worthwhile was the full trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm gonna say it looks really good. We actually got to see more of the film. We got to see the voice acting. I think they went with good choices. Jack Black kind of looks like Bowser. He does a decent job of kind of straddling the line between scary and funny, which is good because Bowser kind of goes back and forth depending on the game. We also have Chris Pratt, I think, was a good choice for Mario. Anna Taylor-Joy seems pretty good for Princess Peach. Obviously, they have to... There's not really pre-existing voices, I think, for Peach or Bowser. And they wanted to kind of go a different way with Mario. We got like a Mario Kart scene. We got like a DK versus Mario like beatdown. We got fire flowers. It looks like they just took everything they could from the Mario games and just mashed it together into a giant pile of fan service. It kind of reminded me of the Sonic 2 without the crappy human parts. So that, I think, was the best part of the movie. Unfortunately, it wasn't technically in the movie, and it was over within the first 5 minutes, and then I had to endure a truly horrendous Indiana Jones trailer and a truly horrendous what was the other trailer? There's Guardians of the Galaxy, which looked bad but not like horrible bad, and then I'm trying to remember what the other movie trailer was. Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, because everyone was demanding a new Ant-Man movie. But yeah, obviously I'm stalling, so I don't want to talk about this, but how do you even review something like what I just saw? Like, what do you even say? Like, I can say it's bad, I can say it sucked. I would kind of have to, like, to go through everything wrong with Avatar: The Way of Water, it would take like hours. I would basically just have to sit through the whole film and pause it. Maybe I'll do that, but oh right, there's one other good thing. Apparently the alt-right won in this alternate history, and the Methno state became a reality because all the humans are white. This has the least human diversity I've ever seen in a film. I guess the general was a woman, but otherwise everyone else seems to be like a heterosexual white male. So I guess the Methno state is real. we took Earth, boys. It's glorious, I guess. This one had much stronger racial overtones than the previous movie. They even use cringe terms like the indigenous population, and they just do stuff to kind of jump on board that whole bandwagon. I mean, the first movie was like that too, but they just go even more over the top in this one. Like, when humans when the Terrans arrive on Pandora this time, they just blow large portions of it up, it looks like, for no reason. It's kind of like the end of Lord of the Rings, where Saruman's doing his pseudo-industrial revolution for the sole purpose of just fucking with the hobbits and not actually producing anything. Apparently the humans are back and Earth is dead now. Because it wasn't dead in the first movie, now it is dead. And humanity is going to colonize Pandora, and it's going to become New Earth. So they've built like a big city. I think it's called Bridgehead City. And they've brought in more mechs, they've brought in more stuff, and they're back. So getting to Sam Worthington, who can pay his rent because of this film now, him and Neytiri have had 4 kids, which is, I guess it's okay. I mean, I guess it's kind of a natalist message. At least they didn't abort their kids, so that's something. There's like the older kid who's like the perfect son. Then there's a second older kid who's like the awkward one who's out of place. Then there's like the spiritual one. Then there's the little kid who no one gives a shit about. Oh no, wait, she isn't one of them. Is she? I don't know, there was one kid who didn't have a father. She was like conceived by Iowa or something. I think she was Sigourney Weaver's. I don't know, it wasn't really explained, but one of them is like this Christ figure, and she's the Navi Messiah. She's the avatar of Iowa, or whatever that nonsense is. So, the Sky People come back, and for some reason, because he was such a success in the first movie, they copied the personality of Quaritch and his Marine team, and then they sent the personalities back to Earth, and they made avatars out of Quaritch and the rest of the team. Why? I guess they just didn't have anything else to spend money on, and James Cameron's become a hack, and this is all he could come up with. He's like, okay, well, people kind of like Quaritch for his camp in the first movie, so let's bring him back. Let's just recreate every scene from the first movie. Let's have the you're not in Kansas, you're on Pandora line. Let's have him find his body. And now Quaritch has a son, apparently. I don't think that was established in the first movie. And there's like his son has gone full Avatar. And his son is like raised with Jake's kids or something. So anyway, so the humans are fighting. The Navi don't live in Home Tree anymore for some reason. I don't know why. But the Navi are just kind of killing humans who are trying to come after them or something. It's not very clear. The military aspects. Look, guys, this movie was 3.5 hours long. It was a sequel to a 3.5 hour long movie. We don't have time to get into details like the plot, like what the fuck's actually happening, any of that. So, the Navi are waging a guerrilla war once again, and they seem to be doing okay. But Quaritch shows up, and half his guys immediately get taken out, so he's a complete joke and not a threat at all. And then Jake immediately goes, well, I think he actually makes a rational decision. So his kids are completely retarded, and they just keep actively trying to search out Quaritch and put themselves into situations where they get captured. It happens like 5 or 6 times in this film, because this movie has no originality. They, like I said, they spent, what was it, like 16 years making this film, and the writing felt like something that they spent like 2 minutes on. Like, people, this cost what, like $250 million to make? This is the most expensive phone-in history. It's very clear from the underwater scenes that that was the sole reason this film was made. Not to tell a story, not even to make money, but because of James Cameron's autistic obsession with the undersea world. So Jake Sully's like, look, I'm gonna abandon my people. I'm Turok Macho. I'm the alpha male, but I'm gonna be a bitch, and I'm just gonna go run away, make some like random loser whose name we don't know, the leader of the tribe, and he goes to live with the water clans, the Reef Navi, who have evolved. They're like a subspecies or something, so they have bigger tails, and I think they can hold their breath for longer. So they like learn the ways of the tribe, because this movie has to just rely on everything. This movie reminded me a lot of the Star Wars sequels, particularly Rise of Skywalker, but also The Force Awakens, just in terms of how many scenes they had to recreate from the first movie. Because like I said, they didn't really have, this was a rush project, guys. James Cameron didn't have any time to refine the script. He didn't have any time to do editing. Someone described this movie as seeming like a series of half-hour-long sub-films that are only loosely connected to one another. And that's true, because like during the whole part where they're living with the like Reef Navi and learning the ways of the tribe, they completely forget about the Courage plot for like half an hour, and I forgot I was even watching the same movie. They just completely forgot about it, which is, I mean, okay, I guess. That was like the best part of the movie, just because of the like the cool CG animals. But so Courage's like plan is he's gonna go full Avatar. He's gonna learn the ways of the tribe, and he's gonna track down Jake Sully. Why he's doing any of this, I don't. None of this shit is explained in this movie. None of this is explained. So he gets one of those like sky things he could ride on. There is the whole issue though that Jake is hiding out with the Water Tribe. I'm just going to call them the Water Tribe because this is Avatar. It's not like the good Avatar. It's not like Avatar: The Last Bender. This is like Legend of Korra. Yeah, I think that's a good metaphor for this. This is Legend of Korra meets The Rise of Skywalker, I guess. Directed by Rian Johnson. No, Rian Johnson's too competent to make this movie. Rian Johnson's just an asshole. He's not really an inept director. But what was I saying? So they're living with the sea people. The daughter of the chief looks exactly like Brittany Vente. I mean, look her up. It actually was kind of amusing. So I kept imagining it was Brittany Vente. And that was like the funniest part of the movie. And she like develops a crush on Sully's like offbeat son, and his offbeat son befriends one of the giant whale monsters, which was actually the best part of the movie because the whale monster's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And maybe his daughter, maybe the cuck baby, maybe the Messiah who is conceived immaculately by Iowa. I know that it was Mary's conception that was immaculate, but just go with me here. She like goes into a coma and has a seizure for no adequately explored reason. So then Jake has to call in like a medevac because they're the Terrans from StarCraft. So he calls in a medevac and they try to like cure her, but modern science is evil and it doesn't work. And instead what works is like their bullshit AOA magic somehow works. However, Jake Sully, like, we're told that he's this great warrior, that he's like a strategic genius. He didn't figure out that getting his friends to fly like a big hovercraft around would attract attention, because he assumes that humans don't have radar or satellites or whatever. I mean, the Terran command centers definitely have the orbital command upgrade. They definitely have sensor sweep. So they're able to figure out pretty quick, oh, Jake's hiding with the sea peoples. And he's hiding with the water tribe. So they immediately go in and they get this kind of like conquistador thing where Quaritch gets this collection, this fishing operation. Apparently these whale beasts, if you extract their brain fluid, the brain fluid can be used to halt human aging. And he's like, this one has $80 million worth of stuff in this one tube. And I'm like, look at how many personnel they have. $80 million is shit. $80 million doesn't pay for like one outing in their giant ship. It doesn't pay for like 3 hovercraft. Maybe they nationalize the defense industries now, and like these people are all conscripts. But I don't get it. Earth is supposed to be out of resources. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But they get it from one of the whales. They have this like giant ship and all these other speedboats. James Cameron obviously wanted to direct the Waterworld sequel, which honestly probably would have been better than this. But they go and they start like burning villages down for no reason and torturing Navi. And the Navi are like, we don't know where Turok Macho is. We don't know where he is. And then it turns out that they were just lying snakes and they knew where he was the whole time. And then the water tribe, because we need a climatic action scene, is like, you know what? Terrans are bad. They've come here with their Thors and their Vikings and their Banshees, and they just keep fucking us up, so let's go to war. And so their plan is to just charge this giant ship loaded with heavy machine guns and depth charges and all this other stuff. And I know Jake's like, this is a really bad idea. And then they're like, no, it's a good idea. And he's like, okay, it's a good idea. We're going to do it. And it's not until like the end of the battle where they're like, hey, the only reason that the Terrans are even here is because we were harboring Jake Sully, who ran away from the main war like a bitch to go hide in like the middle of nowhere. Like the people who took him in, the people who he led to like victory, he just fucked off. It's just like, I'm gonna go hang out with my kids on like a beach somewhere and swim with the shark whales. Which, to be fair, if I was in this world, I probably would do that too. Let's not kid ourselves. So they just attack the giant mothership. Not a Protoss mothership. They attack the Terran mothership, and in typical movie fashion, they come at it with like hundreds of flying things that are massive, and the Terrans have like hundreds of machine guns, some of which are like multiple barrels, and they all fire and they all miss somehow, because that's how machine guns work. I think that Hollywood thinks that tracer rounds are the only bullets that come out of a gun. Like when a chain gun's firing and every couple seconds you see like a tracer round, I don't think they understand that there's bullets in between those, because like they obviously are getting hit by the other ones. And then like the Navi are attacking, so then they go underwater because they're getting shot at, and they have depth charger launchers, which they don't use for some reason, and they have hovercraft again. But like, I don't get it. The Banshees that they use don't have armored cockpits. And multiple times in this movie and multiple times in the previous film, Like, the Na'vi will just shoot arrows through the armored cockpits. Though the unarmored cockpits. So I don't get why they don't just make them armored or fix that fucking design flaw. Because it seems like that's just the way it is, and everything explodes. Like, I don't get it. I might do a separate video just about the military dimensions of this. The Terrans seem to have no strategic weapons. They don't have missiles. They don't have bombers. They don't have artillery. They don't have shit. All they have is like close range machine guns that aren't effective. Like, they don't seem to be able to kill the stuff the Na'vi rides. I guess they haven't invented like armored piercing rounds in this world, I guess. So, because if they put like actual like cannons or missile launchers or stuff like that, like, they know where the Na'vi are hiding. It's just that their low-flying hovercraft get taken down. And I'm like, why don't they just bring in some B-52s with some cruise missiles and just bomb them like that? Or just nuke them from orbit. Or just use some fucking artillery. Like, no, all they have is like small squads of guys using shitty exoskeletons with guns that don't even seem to hurt the Na'vi. Except for Jake Sully's son, who dies because we need drama. Courage doesn't die. Jake doesn't die. No one else dies. Because this is a kid's movie. All the humans get killed, though, because they're evil. Because humanity's shit. And everybody who lives on Earth deserves to die. Because we killed our mother. We killed the Earth. So that means that all the people in third world countries who are supposed to pity because they weren't responsible for global warming, they're all gonna die and they deserve it, which I guess is kind of based, maybe. All the children who were born after all the bullshit happened, they're all gonna die. All the weak and infirm are gonna die, but I guess these people are like pro like post-birth abortion and pro like euthanasia anyways. So I guess what they're saying is that my alternate history, so the Methno state, so I guess what it is so the Turner Diaries happened, the Methno state was established, and then the white people in the US exterminated all the other minorities on Earth, and they somehow destroyed Earth in the process, and now they're trying to colonize Pandora. And they're trying to colonize Pandora by just blowing shit up and burning the forest down. Like, they're very clear when they kill the whale, they're like, we're only going to take the brain fluid. This like corpse made out of lightweight armor plating that can resist 50 caliber armor piercing shells, that's not important. There's no value. Like, I remember, I think it was in I want to give credit, Villains or Evil Civilizations Too Dumb to Win. It's like the Terrans are just like, look, we don't give a fuck about like the medicinal, the chemical research, the biological research, all this like stuff, the vitamins that might come out of it. We don't care about the technology that allows massive creatures to fly. That's not important. We're just here to blow shit up because we're white people. And it's like, but wasn't kind of one of the purposes of colonialism the idea that you were going to exploit the native resources of an area and use it to grow cash crops or gold or coal or steel or something like that, or tea, and export that back to the homeland to create manufactured goods? I don't get how just blowing shit up and burning forests down is like a useful thing. I guess that's just how corporations are. Is fuck it, we don't care about making a profit, even though we care about making a profit. Like, once again, why don't they just make armor, like body armor, out of the indestructible whale plates? At least vehicle armor. I'm sure that shit would sell for a lot of money back on Earth. But they just don't care about any of that. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how long it takes to get from Earth to there. Like the last hour of this movie is just them getting trapped on a sinking ship, which is kind of what this franchise has become. and no one dies and nothing happens, and Quaritch's son saves him even though he's not Quaritch because of reasons, because if you kill him you'll just be like him, even though he killed people all throughout this movie. If you kill someone who has a name, then you're just like them. But if you kill people who don't have names, then you're not like them, I guess, is kind of the logic here. So at the end of the movie, we get like a shitty monologue where like Jake Sully's son gets killed by Quaritch, maybe. One of the bullets that doesn't seem to be able to hit anything or hurt anything hits him and kills him. How like one bullet, maybe it was a 50 cal. How like an assault rifle bullet would kill a Navi when it's not even guaranteed to kill a human, I don't know. Maybe it hit an artery. But like, so they got hit. They got hit by the bullet, they got hit by the explosive, and so he's like, we're water tribe now. Like I said, I'm just fucked off. But the people in the woods can just get raped and killed by humanity. We're gonna have to start another something or other. The plot went nowhere. Quaritch is still alive. The Navi are still fucked. Humanity lost like one mothership. They didn't lose anything else, I guess, except their minds. Once again though, like you really gotta wonder, do Stinger missiles not exist in this world? Do flak cannons not exist in this world? Does like grenades don't seem to exist? All that exists is assault rifles and 50 cal machine guns, which I don't get. Like, can't they, maybe Pandora also, aren't a lot of modern weapon systems automated anyways? Why are they still using guys on gun emplacement? Like, my understanding is like the phalanx defense systems on ships, aren't those radar controlled because it's too fast for a human? So they can produce Gatling guns like 20 years ago that can shoot down missiles, but they can't produce Gatling guns that can shoot down relatively, compared to a rocket, slow moving huge targets that are, I don't know, they just can't do it. Pandora apparently just doesn't allow radar to work, except when it allows radar to work because they have like the tracking device. So, and you were saying you're complaining about realism in a movie with giant blue people, but if the villains are just completely incompetent and aren't a threat and are just total retards, it's not intimidating and it's not interesting, and it's just, and there's nothing else going for it than just these shitty action scenes, shitty CG. I saw it in an IMAX, so it had those things where it had those like side panels of like the low res nonsense. This movie was fucking awful. Don't see it. Don't even see it like as a joke or to laugh at it, because it's just not worth it. It's just not. If you really want to see it, maybe obtain it when it comes out on like DVD or something. But hard pass. Movie was a piece of shit. Go watch the Super Mario Bros. Trailer. That was fucking awesome. Anyways, God bless everybody. Talk to you soon.